November 11, 2024. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today, and this is how I drew it up. It was a pretty slow day. Today is a bank holiday. It's Veterans Day, and there was no economic data released. Price action was really slow. There weren't very many candles printed, and I wasn't able to find any really good setups to take a trade on, as well as the setups I did find. I kind of considered a few of them just mostly almost trades. So I'm going to get into the charts right now. It was kind of had this really big, slow, I guess, sell-off, but you could actually see it as two legs, one leg down, two chops up, another leg down, another rally, and then these consolidation trading ranges. Total trading range itself is only about maybe 40 points, but it was just a really slow, grindy day. So in the pre-market, price action looked like it was rallying on this. There's many little legs in here, but then there was a sell-off, and then the market opened. There's no clean second entries that I could find or I felt safe. Well, there are no clean second entries that I found in the pre-market that I would think I would have really liked taken, except for maybe this one, but it's more of a visual. Bounce off the EMA, bounce off the bottom of this green up channel, but I didn't mark it because this is really early in the AM. The price will start moving. It looks like it's in this trading range, breaks out, has a failed breakout on this side. It's new high, so first entry long, pull back, second entry long. Looking for a higher low, and you kind of get a higher low right here, but this doesn't have a very good signal bar, and it's already really close to the highs of this potential range that I'm in. Pushes up, and I thought I saw what I considered a triple test. There's a one touch, two touch, three attempts to break above here. This yellow down channel doesn't exist yet, and even though it's in a range, it's a break of this green up channel, so it tested the high. I need to see what happens on the next candle to feel like the uptrend is played out because it's coming for an overshoot. And I was wondering if there's going to be a symmetric overshoot on this side. It actually creates a first entry short, almost a second entry short. You don't know yet, but it also does confirm the triple test. It's starting to move back down. This was a pretty small risk, only a 4-tick candle, so it might have been a possible trade, which is what I marked it, but I think I wanted a lower high confirmation to feel confident prices are going to continue back down. And you don't really get that lower high, it just kind of pushes the other side and flashes out. When prices are just kind of moving in this range, well, actually in this channel, because I drew this as a down trend line, matching corresponding channel on this side, but it's not touching and confirming very well. You have a new high here technically, the first entry long pullback. You have a second entry long here, but this is kind of seeing this in real time. I was thinking I tried to make some kind of channel fit, but it didn't fit all that well. I ended up deleting it. But this is the second entry long here. It's a decent signal bar, but it feels like it's just kind of in the middle of nowhere. Below the EMA, prices looks like they're trying to push back down. I didn't have this larger pre-market trading range established yet. I had these drawn, but I didn't really trust it as being in a range just yet. So it's just like looks like it's moving up, coming back down. A little hard to know if there's a clean setup here. You would need a higher low, at least for me, and a push above the EMA to even consider anything. But I'm thinking maybe it's going to have the EMA have a rejection. It kind of does both because it goes from a new low, first entry short, pull back. You don't get a second entry short technically here because it's like a first entry short. I needed a break above these guys and then a flush down. But then seeing this price action, I'm within a trading range, so I'd be selling into the lows because the range could actually be down here. So it was a little ambiguous, so I left it alone. Then you just kind of have side-by-side candles, just very slow price action today. I did see this. I saw this as a new low. It's a first entry short, pullback, second entry short. Even if you took this count from here, it'd be a first entry short, pullback, second entry short, count resets, first entry, second entry. But I also saw this as a new high, makes a triple test up here, or actually a triple top here. First entry long, pullback, second entry long. So this is potentially a second entry long failure and a second entry short. I just didn't really like it, so I didn't really mark it because even though it has an EMA rejection, potentially close enough, it's already pressing toward the support. And it had trouble here, and it's making higher lows every time. So this whole area is a little noisy and ambiguous to me, so I left it alone. In this case, it looked like it worked, but then reverses back up. At this point, I do trust this yellow trend line coming down pretty well as a resistance because it has one touch, two touch, three touch. Bottom support isn't as clean, but I'm not really looking to go long since the overall bias is going selling off. I'm looking for another reason to go short if prices ever get back up to here. So the break of this green up channel attempts to test it once. So actually, this is where it creates a potential failed second entry long. I thought it was a possible trade. So it's a push of this green up channel, first attempt up, possible second attempt up. Then it fails. So it's created a failed second entry long. Possible rejection from this yellow down channel, one touch, two touch, three touch, fourth confirmation. So it's coming back down. If I want to take this trade though, I just felt like there is enough room from here to here, but I would have to have taken it kind of because you don't know it's going to fail here until you get here. After this closes, I would have wanted to put at the lows of this candle and hope for enough momentum to press down. So it looks like if I try to enter, it's debatable whether I would have gotten entered here or not. Definitely for sure here and push down. But if I didn't get filled here, after seeing the price action here, I'm pretty sure I would have canceled the trade because it looked like bulls were able to push it all the way back up. Drops around, creates a first entry short, creates a second entry short failure, but this isn't really anything because it's just kind of a second entry short failure, but it just doesn't have any other too many key entry points going for it, other than maybe this is acting as a support. Pushes up, has an overshoot on this side, comes back down, and it's just this looks like there's a lot happening, but if you look at the timestamp, there's not very much happening. Also, total volume for the day has been really low, considering it is a holiday, so I wasn't being too ambitious, and I didn't want to get stuck in any trade that took a while to print and a while to resolve. The first entry long, second entry long here, bad signal bar. Technically a higher low here, but this is also a bad signal bar, so nothing would have told me to get a order ready to take a higher low. Prices then move up. It hits this area, which I think is some kind of resistance. So at this point in time, I'm thinking, is there some kind of range that's developing between this blue line and maybe this bottom here, pre-market lows? Pushes down. I mean, you have second entry longs and second entry shorts, kind of throughout, but they're not set up clean and they're not set up with a lot of key entry points to help reinforce the trade. The prices move down this orange down channel, breaks on this green up channel. You have a new low here, first entry short, technically a second entry short. I'm not really a key fan of. I'm not a fan of this setup because this isn't a very good signal bar. It's plus inside to this bar, so it's a little bit. It could be better, and definitely it's not good enough to warrant a trade. Drops around. Looks like it's kind of in this range with this weird overshoot here, but it presses down. So I'm not really giving too much attention to this now. I did see there was like one push, two push, third attempt here for potential triple test. But this is a, I mean, this is a, it looks like a big candle. It's a small trading day, but relative where all the price action is, it's considered a rather large candle. And it's just the prices were just very tightly traded today. So I didn't really feel confident taking anything here, even though it's like a new high, technically new high. First entry long, second entry long, push up and then flush down. You also see it as a new low here. First entry short, second entry short. Visual looks like maybe there's like a lower high, excuse me, lower high here. But I think I was over analyzing and just kind of seeing things that weren't there. So I had to kind of step back thinking I'm getting too far into the weeds. I need something to break out, something to set up more clean. And I wasn't sure what was going to happen today. Creates a lower high here. So it's a push on this orange down channel break, and it's coming down to test the low. There's also a new high here. It's a first entry long pullback, second entry long, pushing back down, push up, and this is a potential lower high. And I'm thinking, excuse me, there's an EMA rejection. I like that it moved one tick up and pushed down with a strong close, but this is the previous candle, and this one's here. It didn't really quite, it just kind of pushed halfway. So even though it's a lower high, it's enough room to move to the bottom, but I considered it an almost trade because it just didn't look, well, I just wasn't feeling confident in the price action today just because it was so slow. And with not very many setups kind of coming out for me. Then prices move down, creates like 3 legs down, pushes. Again, I'm not confident that this is the low of this channel. This higher channel, I had tried a few things that actually cut through here at one time. So I had an overshoot. And then later I kind of angled it up here, kind of had this one touch here and had an overshoot here. So this is kind of what I ended up with because it looked like it had 1, 2, 3 confirmations, but this is more toward the end of the day. So it didn't really help me during the trading day. So this overshoot, whether it's true or not, it's just off a weak premise of not being super confident that this is the low side of the down channel. So I had to be extra cautious. It's this trading range, technically a triple test here, but I'm not going long on this ugly looking doji candle. Breaks through. I find this green down channel and actually had a little bit tighter initially, something here, dwelled for quite a while outside, so then I actually dragged it and made it a little bit larger. Creates this failed second entry short. It's a new low, first entry short, second entry short. Second entry short has confirmed to fail, but it's an almost trade because seeing this, it's a failed second entry short, but half of the second entry short was formed below the EMA and the second half's up here. So although it's a failure, I could be pressing into the top of a range. It's a decent signal bar. I need a lower high confirmation above the EMA to really trust this. And you don't get a lower high till about right here, but this is a terrible signal bar for a lower high. Even though it is going up on this orange up channel, if this had closed green, maybe it'd be under consideration. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen for us, and it just kind of pushes up. Chops around, you get some second entry longs, but it's nothing clean here. A lot of dojis, a lot of small candles. The potential fail breakout of what I thought this was a trading range, but I also noticed that it made a double top here. So now it's coming through and made 2 legs down. So when I see this, I'm questioning whether the top of the trading range is actually here, and this could be the midline. So this could be kind of like a 2-tier channel that's something like this. I was thinking at one time. Let's go ahead and put that back. This could be a failed breakout. And I was wondering if there's going to be a failed breakout on this side. So it creates a first entry long, potential second entry long here. Second entry long hasn't confirmed yet. So by the time it confirms and closes, it pushed back up to the top of my original trading range. But now the trade feels like it's too late to try to chase this. And it's entering the last 30 minutes of the day. Having not really seen any clean setups, I wasn't about to just jump on this hoping to get some kind of trade just because it felt dicey. And I know just walking away feels a little bit bad because I'm expecting to try to get a trade through, but sometimes on days like this, it's just better to walk away with no trade as opposed to gambling, taking a loss, and that would have been bad because I would have kicked myself for, you know, taking a trade when I clearly knew there's no super safe trade. The other part of it is if I am successful and I do get a winning trade out of something I wasn't too sure of, I'm more concerned about instead of taking a losing trade, I have built up a bad habit that's going to come back and bite me in the future because I know, it's kind of bending the rules now. It's getting close to the end of the day. It's not even the nicest setup. To take a trade and have that bad action rewarded is just going to reinforce a bad habit. So I call this an almost trade. Second entry long, might have been more aggressive if someone else took it, but I decided to leave it alone. You do have a higher low here, but this higher low, again, is getting close to the end of the day. Clearly, I'm outside of this trading range, but I might be pushing into this trading range. So I already skipped this one. I wasn't really going to think about chasing this at this point as well. So I just kind of left it alone. Actually, let me see if this would have worked. If I entered at the highs here, I'd have to exit at, so this is exactly 1 point from the highs here to the highs here. It's debatable whether I would have gotten a exit here. And I had one trend line drawn something like this, which I eventually used it as the dominating line. You're kind of pushing into that line here. So is it going to act as resistance? I'm not sure, but why risk it on the end of the day when I could just walk away with nothing and not have to owe anything? I also saw this as a second entry long. I liked it, but it's too late in the day. There's only 10 minutes left. Say first entry long, second entry long, decent signal bar, clearly a support here. This trading range is probably actually up here. So you have enough room to break through and up to the other side, but it's just too late in the day, had to leave it alone. The price is just kind of chopped sideways and pushes into the close. So I have noticed that there have been more and more days like this where the price action is very slow. And I'm thinking that's kind of gradually becoming the norm. I don't know if I haven't traded long enough to see enough years of what happens in the December, November, October timeframe. But I'm seeing, at least this year, price action has been very slow. And I'm trying to remind myself to be extra patient because I do feel myself feeling a lot of FOMO and feeling like I need to be drawn into a trade when this could just be what the norm is, and I have to be even more, I guess, picky on what I pick to enter on. So I don't walk away with a red trade because more often than not, it's happened to me in the past where I take a mediocre trade and then lose and then get triggered and start revenge trading. So I think I've had recordings of it or actually just videos of it in the past where I took a lot of trades in one day and I knew I was over trading. So definitely don't want to do that. And hopefully this video was helpful.